Now let's get into the detail of this section of a program. So, so we will talk about data types, constants, and variables. Let's see some of the questions. What are the appropriate data types for each of these inputs? So first is, if you want to represent number of days in a month, we know January has 31 days, February can have 28 or 29 days, depending on the year is leap year or not. So if you want to represent number of days, we know it is always a fixed number. It's not a decimal number. So such number which does not have decimal part, we call it integer. And the way we declare an integer in C, we say int, that's the data type, days is a variable, equals 31, it's a constant. So 31 we will call as integral constant, and there is a semicolon after that. So this is how we can represent days in a month. Now, if you want to represent gender of a person, we know gender of a person can be represented easily by a single alphabet. We can put M, it can be small m or capital M, or we can keep F for female, small f or capital F. So gender of a person can be represented by only one alphabet, which we call character. And the way we declare char is the keyword for declaring a character variable. So char gender is equal to single quote M. So characters are stored in are represented using single quotes. So this M that we are putting, we will put it in single quotes, so it becomes a character constant. Now, if we want to represent name of a student, we know our name will be set of characters. Multiple characters will represent a name. That is typically called a character array in C, or usually in real world we call it a string. So name of a student will be string. C does not have any built-in data type for string, so we use character array for representing a string. So Salman Khan is a constant string. Name is a variable here, and char with square bracket, it's representing a character array. Now, height of a person, typically when we represent height of people, it will be in decimal values. We say 5 feet, 9 inches, like that. So we can represent height as float. Float is the data type for representing decimal numbers. So we say float height is equal to 5.7. Sometimes we also need to represent Boolean answer. The person is senior citizen or not. So we say it's a Boolean. The data type for that is bool. Is senior citizen is a variable and false is a constant. Right? Now C does not have a built-in bool data type. It's an illusion. It is just another name given to integer data type. So read it as int is senior citizen is equal to 0. False is 0, true is 1. If you want to use these three keywords, bool, false, and true, you have to hash include a header file, which is stdbool.h. Once we hash include that header file, we will be able to use these three keywords, bool, true, and false. They make the program more readable, that's it. Bool is not a new data type, it is just an integer. Now, what we have seen in this, all the declarations have three things, data type, constant, and variable. And I hope everyone is able to identify in every of these lines declarations, we are able to find data types. So for example, if we see here, data type is char, constant is right side, this M in single quote is a constant, and variable is this name. Now, if I ask you what is the difference between string and character, Salman Khan is a string, M is a character. So one difference that clearly is visible is strings are in double quotes, characters are in single quotes. So that is the difference. For now, we will be focusing only on three data types, int, char, float. So this one, and this one. So next few programs that we will do, we'll focus on only on these three data types. Then gradually we will move on to strings and booleans also. Now, one last thing to know, to keep in mind is limits.h is a header file which defines the range of every data type. Because every data type in computer will have a range, it will have a minimum value and maximum value that you can assign. So limits.h is a header file where we can go and find some constants defined which tell us what are the minimum and maximum values a data type can hold. Right? So that was all about data types, constants, and variable. Next, we will look into writing a program which looks like this. So we will see that in the next video.